Now, in this regard, in this particular area, I'll refer to the Holy Quran and see what we find there. When one is captured by shaitan kana min al-jinn, according to the Quran, which means the jinn are a people who are rebellious, made out of fire. The Holy Quran says, وَخَلَقَ الْجَانَّ مِن مَارِجٍ مِن نَارٍ, which means that he made the jinn out of fire or a blast of fire. This is an Arabic expression. خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ أَجَلٍ. What is ajal? How can you make man out of ajal?
Yes.
So this means anybody who has an element of haste in him, he is made out of ajal. Anybody who is fiery, he is made out of fire. This is an Arabic expression of the highest quality. And the Quran has the highest quality of language. So that is why jinn is created from fire, means they are rebellious people. Shaitan is rebellious. Anybody who refuses to believe in authority, he is from fire. That is exactly what Iblis said to God when he was required by God to submit to Adam. You know what he said? He said, I am built out of fire, he is built out of wet clay. Fire will not submit to wet clay. Fire overpowers it. Fire destroys everything. So I am a destructive man. Your prophet Adam is a creative man. He stands for good things. I am evil. I destroy things, he makes things. You see, wet clay makes things, and fire destroys them. The whole cities are razed to ground with fire. So he said, this is my nature. How can you expect me to bow to him? I said, all right, go away. But you're wrong when you say you will conquer the people of clay. When they submit to me, then they will reach beyond they'll go beyond your reach. You'll never be able to destroy them. This is what we read from the Quran. And Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam understood the Quran more than any human being can ever claim. Correct? Now, what he thought of jinn or shaitan, the mullah says one and the same thing. Kana min al-jinn, so shaitan was a jinn. Right or wrong? Right, he was a jinn. And Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, for every man there is a shaitan that runs into his blood. Where is that fire which runs into your blood or anybody else's blood? Somebody said, Ya Rasulullah, even in your blood there is a shaitan? He said, yes, but he has become Muslim. No, any man with an iota of common sense can understand this. He referred to shaitan or jinn to be that nafs ammara. Nafs ammara is a rebellious nature in man. When you say, do good things, they say, no, I'm not going to do good things. Allah tells you to do this, do that, all the good things. Nafs ammara says, no, don't believe, don't agree. So, Nafs ammara of Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had got completely subdued. There was no evil voice ever rising from his heart, telling him to do bad things. That is the meaning of his shaitan becoming Muslim. So the Quran is a word of wisdom, profound wisdom. The word of God has to be a word of wisdom. So without wisdom you can't understand. That is the problem. So when you speak of the jinns of the Solomon and David, the Holy Quran says they were bound in heavy chains, which means they are hardy, sturdy people. They were rebellious people who had been enslaved by the power of Hazrat Dawood and Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam. With the grace of Allah, it was God who had given him power to conquer these people. Now, this is an old custom of those days. Even pharaohs, when they built the great pyramids, they used to move thousands of prisoners in shackles, from one place to the other, to carry heavy stones and heavy works, and they built the pyramids for them. So it is an old custom which is also mentioned in the Holy Quran with reference to Hazrat Dawood, Hazrat Sulaiman, and there is no wonder. So they were the rebellious people who knew, but at the same time, the Holy Quran doesn't say that even one single man was visited and haunted by one of the jinns of Hazrat Dawood. Show me the reference where it is. Then the same ulama quote the Quran by saying that jinn is made out of fire. And they insist this is made out of fire. But when this jinn enters a man or a poor woman, why does it burn it out? What sort of fire that is? It doesn't burn. A woman, delicate woman is captured, her clothes remain exactly the same, her body remains the same, the fire is in her and it does not burn. What sort of fire that is? Then in the Holy Quran it is said, the same jinns who were shackled, in chains, heavy chains, they also dived into the water and took pearls from underneath, brought them out for the sake of the kings, or the prophets of God, for whom they had been made, to serve the cause. Now these jinns, according to the Quran, could delve into the water, go deep, and take out the pearls. What sort of fire that was? It didn't quench, not quench by water. So a fire which does not burn, a fire which is not quenched, what sort of fire that is? So if they quote the Quran, they should try to understand the Quran as well. Those jinns were real human beings, a rebellious people who could do heavy works. And they toiled and toiled to do works. And that is why the industry in the time of Hazrat Dawood and Hazrat Sulaiman prospered so much. And when the reign of after the death of Hazrat Sulaiman, an incapable son sat on the throne, and these people got the wind of it, that there is no more a powerful king like Solomon. They started rebelling. They broke away the shackles, and then they started breaking the empire by capturing small portions here and there, right? Yet none of them, when free, captured anyone else. Not a single human being. So the Quran doesn't know these things, and the ulama know. Strange thing, isn't it? Now, they also refer to Surah Jinn, or Surah Al-Jinn in the Quran. And they say it is written there that a delegation from among the jinn came to visit Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. Why do you say there is no jinn? We don't say there is no jinn. We say jinn is not what you think it is. It is different. And from the Quran we prove that it is different from what you think. Jinn, of course there is. The Holy Quran is full of mention of jinns. But we'll believe only in that jinn which the Holy Quran describes, not that jinn which you describe. So, let's see what happened. When the delegation from among the jinn came, they encamped outside Medina, a kilometer or two outside Medina. And Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah went to meet him privately without taking anybody along with him. Huh? Except one person. Except one person. Thank you for correction. Yes. And he visited and talked with them. And no hadith mentions that he recited any verse of the Quran to charm them. They were free, they discussed things, and they were convinced that Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah was true Prophet of God. Then they affirmed this, they confirmed and professed the faith of Islam by declaring that Muhammad Rasulullah is right and La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Then they went back. Now there are two things which happened. When they went back, next morning when Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah told the people what had happened, people went to see the place where it had happened. And they report that there were signs of fires are being built, as if human beings had come and stayed there.
Ashes.
Ashes. Signs of fire having built, ashes and stones and things, and wood burnt in that fire, like a delegation of human beings had come. Jinns are out of fire. Why should they build fire? What do you mean by jinns building fire? And they were again human jinns, because when they returned, first of all, they believed in Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah and they were preached by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. Now, was Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for only that delegation of jinns or for all the jinns? So where did he pray to preach Islam to the rest of the jinns? Only who came to them, came to him, and no to none else? What about the remaining of the poor jinns of the whole world? Why didn't he sometimes go to them and start preaching like he went to Taif and other places of the world? And why did he not pick up fights and quarrels with those jinns? Nowhere it is mentioned. The jinns who came to him believed in him and professed. And you know what they said when they returned? You know that? It says, the Holy Quran tells us, they said we were so stupid. We thought there will be no prophet after the previous prophet. And here is another prophet. They were believers of Khatm Nabuwwat. You see? They thought the prophecy had come to an end. But after somebody else was made a Khatam al-Nabiyyin, Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah, the Khatam al-Nabiyyin appeared. So they must have been human beings who believed like Hazrat Yusuf's followers did. Maybe they belong to those people. Because the Holy Quran tells us about one other people who also believe like the present day Muslims that prophecy of all sorts has come to an end. The Holy Quran refers to the people of Hazrat Joseph who believe that after Joseph, no prophet will ever be raised by God. This was a positive declaration. And this belief is the belief repeated by the delegation of jinns when they visited Rasulullah. And when they went back, they said, look here, how stupid we are. Safihuna, you know, our stupid people used to say, no prophet would ever come. And here is the prophet, you see. We have just met him and we are returning from seeing him. So these were the jinns who wanted to hide their personality, their identity. They must have been delegation from an area where they were afraid of being identified because they were not yet sure how their people would take it. Now, I'll quote in the end one hadith from Rasulullah which will support my view fully. They tell us that because the jinns did not want to appear to everyone else, they stayed outside Medina. while Rasulullah tells us that the jinns eat the bones of things, so do not wash yourself, clean yourself with bones. So they were all over Medina. You know, who was eating the bones if they were not jinns? And the people couldn't see them. Rasulullah told them, don't, when you go to the call of nature, attend the call of nature, after, going, emptying yourself, when you want to clean yourself with some stone or some piece of earth, do it, but not with bones. The Sahaba must have been wondering why. He said, because the bones are food for jinn, and they will hurt you. So this means all over Medina, wherever there were bones, and bones are everywhere, there were jinns. So why these jinns stayed out of Medina? They should have come and started eating bones and also discussing things. So they don't understand. What are those jinns which eat bones? Do you know? Yes? What are those?
Germs.
Bacteria.
Bacteria,
Yes.
viruses.
Viruses, germs. Rasulullah, who received the Quran, he was the wisest man on earth. When the concept of germs was not known to the West or anywhere in the world, about 1200 years before that happened, God had told him that there is something, some invisible creature called jinn. And those who eat bones, they are also jinns. So we believe in every form of jinn which the Holy Quran describes. And we reject every form of jinns in which the mullahs believe. All right. And here, this is also an ayah in favor of the truth of Muhammad Rasulullah. But when no one on earth knew that there was an invisible, minute thing which eats the bones and you can't see it, he knew it. That means he was the true prophet of Allah. Beloved by the Alimul Ghaibi wa Shahada.